computer. Okay, cool. So, so far, we understood how we can create the VPC, and within the VPC, how we can associated the subnets and internet gateway to the VPC and routing and security groups, and within that VPC, and how we are deploying the mission on VPC, right? That's what we see in it, right? Yes or no? Is there any questions regarding about our previous sessions?
No.
All right. Okay. So here we need to discuss, for example, if two VPCs, how it can be communicated, that we will see in this particular session. Okay. So if you have any kind of doubts in the previous classes, don't worry. And so same thing could be repeated here. So, fine. So guys, so far we understood how we can create the VPC and how we can deploy the mission on the top of the VPC. That's what we see in it, right? Okay. Now, let me have a question for you all. For example, this is one region, and within that one, we have various availability zones are there. Okay. And now, and you created one VPC, and within that particular VPC, you deployed one particular mission, something like this. Okay. This is my mission on VPC. Now, you're creating one more VPC on the same region or different regions. It's different thing again. Okay. So you might have another VPC, and within that one, you might have the one more, you deployed one particular mission on top of VPC. Okay. Now, how these two missions can be communicated? Can anyone tell me how the how the two missions can be communicated if those things are in a different VPCs? See, if these two missions are available in the same VPC, so these two can be communicated without any, specific connectivities or without any specific, settings. So when we have a two different missions which are available on same VPC, it can be communicated. That we will see actually. Okay. After that one, we can create one more, we can create the different VPC and we can launch the, a mission, and we can try to communicate those two VPCs, and whether these two missions can be communicated or not, practically we'll see. Is it clear or not?
Yes.
Okay. So for this one, make sure that you guys need to be, you must have the AWS account, and you can try to be create the VPCs in your own missions. If not, it's very tough to understand the concepts, guys. And make sure that you can create your own AWS account, and then we can start practice. Okay. So if and only if you practice the subject, then if and only if you practice the labs, then only you will be getting knowledge. Otherwise, theoretically or else even the classes, if you listen one or two times, it won't make sense actually. Okay. Yep. The first step is that we need to go for login to
దాంట్లోకే
your,
రెడీ చేసిన
guys, please meet your systems. Okay. So first thing is that we need to go for login to your AWS console. And I'm logged into my account. That is the first step. And authenticator. Yep. So login as a root user. 0601. And yeah, Login. And here we have to provide your MFA code 345 084 080. Yes. Yes, fine, cool. I just log into my AWS account. Okay. Now, what I can do, I can create the one VPC, and within the VPC, I can deploy the two missions, and I can try to communicate it. I can try I can send the information from one mission to another mission. Okay. Yep. The first thing is that we need to go for create the VPC, right? So in a previous session, I already explained you how we can create the VPC, and same thing I can repeat it here itself, and so that I can go little bit speed and you can try to catch it. Okay.
Can
And the
you go
first,
with the slow pace because this is my first day?
okay, no problem. Then I can go with a little slow. Okay. The first thing is that go on to create the VPC. Okay, VPC means it's a virtual private cloud. Okay. So I'm just creating the virtual private cloud on my Virginia region. So whichever the region you are comfortable, okay, you can select that specific region, and it's up to you actually. And I selected the Virginia region. Okay. So on top of the Virginia region, I'm creating the one VPC and click on the VPC. And here we have an option for create VPC. So here we have we have to fill this particular tags and everything. So I'm giving the name of this particular VPC is I want to deploy the missions which regarding about a Google company. Okay. So like you can give the VPC for Google. Okay. So it's a like Google VPC. I'm giving the name is Google VPC. That means the missions what I'm deploying, which belongs to the Google company. Okay, just in such a way you can try to understand, but it's not exactly the Google company. Just for understanding, for sake of understanding, I'm giving the name is Google VPC. Okay, so whatever the missions I want to deploy belongs to the Google, then I can use this particular VPC only. Next thing is that we have to set how many servers you wanted, how many missions you want to deploy on top of Google VPC. Okay, so that range of IP address we can provide you with help of the subnet. Okay, 10.1.0.0 by 16. This is subnet. So which meaning is that there are 65,000 servers we can deploy on your VPC. That is the meaning of it. Okay. So how we are giving this name? For understanding this one, we can go for our previous session so that you can understand. The next thing is that we can just click on the VPC. The VPC has been created. Once the VPC is created, make sure that we can enable the global DNS name. Like we have to go for enable the DNS host names. If you are enable the host name, then the VPC part is done. Once the VPC is created, the next thing is that it is just a logical entity. Okay. So if you want to deploy any mission on top of VPC, make sure that we have to assigning the subnets to that particular VPC. So that click on the subnets, and subnets is belongs to this specific availability zone. Okay. So VPC, which which is belongs to the entire region, but subnet which belongs to the one specific availability zone. So on which VPC we are going to be assigning the subnet, we can select that specific VPC. And here it is showing that the IPv4 CACDR, it's a 10.1.6.6 by 16, which is given by your VPC. That means there are 65 servers we can deploy on a total VPC. Next one is we have to give your subnet name. My subnet name is, for example, it's a Google related subnet, right? So that Google subnet SN, and it's a one availability zone. And here we have to select availability zone. So in Virginia region, we have the 6 availability zones are there. You can select which availability zone you want to be deploy your mission. Okay, I'm just selecting this mission. Okay, I mean, I'm just selecting the US East hyphen 1A is my availability zone on Virginia region. And within this particular subnets, how many servers I can deploy. I mean, you can deploy all 65,000 servers on the same subnet, or else we can go for the different, we can create the multiple subnets and we can split your 65,000 servers into different subnets actually. It's up to you. Okay. So, but 10.1.10 by 24, which means that you can deploy the 255 servers on subnet 1. Okay. And then, okay, this is the way you are just creating the subnet. Once subnet is created, then the next step is that we need to go for creating the internet gateway. Click on the internet gateway, and without internet gateway, the servers what we are creating, it won't be connected to internet. That means public. So that click on the internet gateway and create the internet gateway and give the name of this particular internet gateway. Okay, so Google Internet Gateway. You can give any name, guys. Once internet gateway is created, then here we have an option for attaching this internet gateway to your VPC. Every VPC, it must have at least, it must have one internet gateway. So you're just attaching your internet gateway to your VPC. Okay. Yep. That way you can attaching your internet gateway to your VPC. The fourth step is that you have to assigning the routing. So routing means how many what are the subnets, associating the subnets, and we have to providing that route direction. So which IP address should be communicated locally and which IP addresses should be communicated through internet gateway, that we have to. Please mute your systems, guys. Okay. So here we have the create route table, and give the name of the route table is, you can give any name, Google route, and select the VPC. It's a Google VPC, and create the route table. Once the route table is created, then it's our task. We have to go for assigning the subnets. So how many subnets you created so far, that all subnets we have to assigning to this particular route table. So far you have only one subnet you created, so that we have to go for adding the edit subnet association and select your all subnets and save the association. So that only, that if and only if you are associating the subnets, then only it can be communicated. Okay, fine. So then after, we have to provide the route as well. Okay, subnet is done, subnet association is done. Then we have to assigning the route. So that means 10.1.0.16. So within this particular IP address can be communicated locally. Okay. But other than this range, if any IP address, it want to be communicated. So without, if you're not providing that, yep. Let me try a small example. Okay. Uh, let me keep it this one. I can here we have to assigning some kind of IP address. If other than this range of IP addresses, if any IP address want to be communicated through this mission, and we have to associating the internet gateway. Okay, how we can do it? Simply here we have edit route is there, and add the route here. So 0.0.0.0 by 0, indicating that other than this IP addresses. Okay, if any IP address, if you're sending any data, it went to the internet gateway. Okay, and click on the internet gateway and select your internet gateway. This way you're giving the route for it. Okay, you're saving the changes. After that one, you have to go for creating the security group. Okay, so here click on the security group and make sure that you have to keep it your VPC address. So before creating your security groups, and we can keep it to this IP address. This IP address ID is required. Security group, and create the security group, and this is Google security group, right? So you have to give some kind of description. Hello, SSH. It's up to you. What's the name you want to give it? Like, okay. So this is Google VPC. That way you can select it. Like here we have the inbound rules are there. So it's not the custom TCP. We can select the all traffic, and any traffic anywhere in IP addresses within this range, it can be giving security group. So that means it can be connected. Okay. Yeah. So if your all settings are done in the in terms of EPC, then your choice is that you have to go for the creating the instance. So if you want to go for creating the instance and click on the EC2 and so see guys, these steps are belongs to creating the VPC. Okay. Now I'm deploying the mission on my top of VPC. Okay. So here your 0 instances are running. So these are all terminated so far. Okay. So click on the launch instance. So if you click on the launch instance and we have to give the server name. So let me consider this is the Google app, Google server. Okay. I'm just giving the name is Google server. Okay. And here this is we have to go for select the any one of operating system. And there we have three type of operating systems are there. One is the Amazon images. Okay. Amazon managed in Amazon marketplace images. And next one is your own operating systems or else third party operating system. So here Amazon is providing some operating systems. We can select any one of it. I'm selecting the Amazon Linux AWS, and it's a free tier, and the instance type is also like it's a free only, and we have to go for selecting the key pair. See guys, in my computer I already Google key pair is there. Okay. And if you know once if you are creating one key pair, the same key pair we can use it for any server actually. Okay. But if you are not created your if you don't have the key pair in your laptop, then what we can do, you can go for creating the new key pair and we can keep it that key pair file in a safe mode. Okay. Yep. For this particular case, I have my own key pair value, and I'm just keeping this one. It's my PEM file. Okay. This is my PEM file. Okay. So you're selecting that Google key pair, and here we have to network setting. Click on the networking settings and select the your Google VPC, and then subnet, and which subnet you want to be go for, and here enabling the public IP address. And so you're already creating the security groups so that we can selecting the security group. Fine, right? And launch the instance. Okay, cool. So far you are creating only one server, that is Google server. Okay. Now I would like to go for launch the one more server, that is Google web server. I'm just giving the name of this one. It's not a Google server, it's a Google app server. Okay, it's a Google app server. Now I would like to go for creating the Google web server. So launch the one more instance, and I want to deploy the same mission on same VPC. So the reason is that Google related all servers, it can be choosing only Google VPC only. Okay. So this is Google web server or else DB server. Okay, I'm just creating the Google DB server and click on the Amazon Linux, and same thing, same steps, and select the any one of the key pair what you have it, and edit and select your enabling your Google public IP, selecting your security existing security to groups, and I'm selecting and launch the instance. That way you're just yep. So that way you can deploying the two missions. One is Google App Server, and second one is the Google DB server. Okay. So these two servers you are launching on your Google VPC. Any questions so far? Now, I would like to go for connecting these two servers from my local machine. And those two missions has to be communicated to each other or not. Let's see practically. Okay. So these two missions are running at this moment. And if you want to connect these missions, make sure that you should have the PPK file. But in my computer, in my previous session, I downloaded the FEM file, right? But how we can connect and how we can create the PPK file? Okay. For that one, what we can do, we have the Putty Gen is an application is there, a software is there. We can download this one. Okay, you can go to this Putty, and here we might have the Putty Gen. So you can download any one of the Putty Gen software. And once if you downloaded the Putty Gen software, it looks like Putty Gen. Okay, so this is the software you have to download. And once if you download, then we can providing that your PEM file. You can just load your PEM file. And so in my so this is my PEM file, Google Key Pair. It's my PEM file. Actually, I already created the PPK file in my local computer. But so before you are creating the PPK file, basically in your laptop, you might have the PEM file. If it is not there, you can create from your create key pair. That option is there, right? If you click on that one, automatically the PEM file can be downloaded. Okay. So select this one, and so this is your private key, and save your private key. And when you're saving, then you can save it in your local computer with the .ppk file. Okay, that way the ppk file could be available in your local machine. I hope you clear this particular point. Okay, now once if you have the ppk file in your local computer, then I would like to go for connecting from. Okay, I would like to go connect from my local mission to your AWS mission. So for this one, you need to know that your IP addresses. Okay. First, we'll try to go for connecting the Google App Server. So this is my public IP. You can copy this one and go to your Putty application and give the host your IP address and click on the SSH. And here we have the authentication and click on the credentials and browse your PPK file. So I already downloaded PEM file, and the PEM file I already converted into the PPK file, and this is my PPK file, Google PPK file. Okay, you just open it and then open. So you have to accept this one. So here login as, actually everyone default it's a EC2-user. So EC2-user. So that way you are connected. See, you can see some window, right? It's a putty window, right? This window, it's your Amazon Linux 2023. It's your Google App Server. This is what? Google App Server. So I connected this Google App Server from my local computer. Is it clear? Keep it this one. And next, I would like to go for connecting. I would like to go for connect my DB server as well. Select this one and copy your public IP. I copied this public IP. Again, you can open your, okay. Again, you can open your Putty. So Putty is one application, guys. It will help you to connect from your Windows machine to Linux machines. And SSH authentication, select your Google Key Pair PK file. Open. So accept. EC2-user. Okay. So guys, This is my Google DB server. Okay. And this is your Google App Server. So this this is your IP address 10.1.1.144. It's your Google App Server. 10.1.1.142 is your Google DB server. Okay. So this is your private address. So you can try to connect. You can try to connect this one. It is not possible, guys. Okay. And if you want to connect from your local mission, I have to give you my PEM file or else PPK file. If and only if we have my PEM file or PPK file, then only you can connect from your local mission to this AWS missions. Clear or not? Is it clear? Now fine. So now what I can do, I would like to send some data from this mission to this Google App Server to Google DB server. I want to send some data. So that I'm just pinging it 10.1.1.142. This is my IP address of Google DB server. It is pinging or not? In the meanwhile, I would like to send some data from my DB server to app server 10 point. What is my app server IP address? 10.1.1.144, right? So that way you can send the data from DB server to app server to DB server. That means these two servers are communicating to each other. Why these missions are communicating to each other? Tell me anyone. So these two missions are deployed on same VPC. These two missions are deployed on same VPC and the IP address is the same, right? So these two missions are deployed on same VPC so that these two missions are communicating to each other. Okay. Now what I can do, I would like to go for creating the different VPC and with different IP addresses, and I can try to communicating from this IP addresses to that new IP address, this mission to the newly created mission. So for that one, again, I would like to go for creating the VPC. This is new VPC. This is not a Google VPC. That is for different company. For example, Facebook. Okay. I'm giving the name of Facebook. Okay, Facebook, and IP address is, for example. So here we have the different class Z, class A, class B, class C, right? So 192 dot 192 or subnet calculator. Okay, what is the class B? Class A, it could be like 10 point something. Okay, class B, it was once 178, I think so. Class B is 178, sorry, 172. Okay, so the range which is started with 172.16, that is a class B. Okay, so guys, if you want to understand this one, make sure that we have to attending the IP addressing and subnet class. Okay, 172.16.0.0 by 16. Here also we can creating the 65,000 servers on Facebook VPC. Okay, and just create a VPC. And once VPC is created, then what we can do, we can enable the DNS host name. So fine. Next one is subnets. Create the subnet. I'm just creating only one subnet, but in real time, you might have the multiple subnets. So attaching your VPC and then, my subnet is Facebook subnet, right? So Facebook subnet. Okay. So Facebook subnet 1. And for example, availability zone is same region and same, but two different VPCs. And 172.16.1.0 0/24. Within this range of server IP range only, we can we can launch the servers on this specific subnet and create the subnet. And you creating the subnet, Facebook subnets, right? Now we can go for the internet gateway, attaching the internet gateway to your Facebook. Guys, for it could be little tricky, but don't worry. If you follow the video, then you will easily get it. Okay, creating the internet gateway and attach it to your VPC, Facebook VPC, and make sure that we can copy this one, this ID, this need for while you're creating the security groups. And route table, create the route tables. Okay. So it is for Facebook route table, right? Okay. So select the Facebook VPC and route. Next one is we have to subnet association. Edit subnet association and select all the subnets and save this association and edit the routes. And so here we have to click on that 0.0.0 and internet gateway and save this. Oh, okay, save the changes. Next one is security groups. Go for creating the security groups. Okay. So far you have only security group for the Google, but I would like to go for creating the security group for the. Okay. Go for creating the security group for Facebook as well. So Facebook security groups. So allow SSH. Okay. So why VPC, make sure that if you're giving that wrong VPC address, then it will be problem for you. It was created for the someone. Okay. And next one is allow all traffic and custom anywhere and create the security group. That way you're just creating the security group. Okay. Now go to your EC2 instances and now we would like to go for launch the Facebook server. Launch the Facebook server. Okay, just click on the launch mission. And it is for Facebook, right? Facebook server. Okay. And selecting that everything and make sure that we can go for the if we have one key pair, it's fair enough for any server, okay, from the same account. Google key pair. I'm just giving the name is Google key pair, guys, but usually we can give any name. So once if we creating the one time if we creating the key pair, that we can use it lifetime. And edit networking settings. So VPC, Facebook VPC, Facebook subnet, and so enable the public IP address, selecting the existing security groups and Facebook security group. Okay. And then launch the instance. So you're launching the Facebook server on Facebook VPC. So copy the IP address, Facebook. So Facebook server, right? This is my Facebook server. It is still pending. And this is IP address. Okay. So now, if it is running, then we can connect from PuTTY. So guys, I'm just for sake of understanding, I'm giving the, okay, this is your Google. Okay. So these two servers are Google servers. Now I created the Facebook server. Okay. Yes, Facebook server also running. You're copying the public IP address. And without the public IP address, we cannot connect this moment from outside. Okay, this is my Facebook IP address. And select your PPK file. Browse the Google key Google Key Pair and open it and open, accept. So EC2 hyphen user. So guys, you can try to observe here. This IP address range is different. This IP address range is different. And this IP address range is different, right? I mean, see, these two, this right side servers are same range because these two are the same company servers. But this is Facebook server address. Okay, now what I can do, I can try to send the data from Facebook server to Google server, whether it is pinging or not. Let's see. Ping. Give me, tell me IP address of Google. 10.1.1.144, right? So it's not pinging. So we can try to ping from Google to Facebook. 172.16.1.133. So even this is also not pinging, right or not? That means these two machines are two different companies, so which never communicated. If and only if you set the if and only if you made some kind of VPC peering. So here VPC peering concept comes here. If any two different VPCs want to be communicated to each other, make sure that we have to create the VPC peering. Is it clear? What is VPC peering? VPC peering means any two different VPCs want to be communicated to each other. So the connectivity we are calling it a VPC peering. Clear or not? Say yes or no. So far, I'm not doing anything, guys. Just I'm creating two different missions on two different VPCs. That's it. And I try to connect those two missions, and I failed here. Okay. So my goal is that these two missions has to be communicated to each other. How I should do it? That I can do it now. For that one, I have to go to my VPC concept. So here we have the peering connections are there. So click on the peering connections and create the peering and give the name is Google, Facebook. So this two only has to be communicated, right? So I would like to acceptor is, for example, requester, for example, Google, and and my account and the same region, and acceptor it was, for example, Facebook. Okay, if one is the Google's and then second one is a Facebook. Okay, so create a peering. So once peering is connection done, so we have to pending acceptance. So here we have an actions and accept the request. So acceptance is done. So let me check the connections. Communication is still happening. No, right? So if these two are communicated to each other, so if you want to made it, even if you made the VPC peering, which is not possible, we have to change the settings in route table. So that go to the route table and route table. So both we have to modify. If you modify only Google, and Google only can send the data to outside. Okay. So if you're not doing anything in a Facebook never accept this data actually. Okay. So now what I can do, so click on the Google route and we can go for the routes here. And you have to know that what is the Facebook address. So you should know the Facebook subnet. Okay. So what is the Facebook subnet? Tell me, guys. 172.16.0.0 by 16, right? This is my book subnet, and click on the peering connection and select the Facebook peering and save the changes. Okay. Meanwhile, what you should do actually, so go to the Facebook route as well and modify the route table and add the route table. Okay, in the route table, you have to add the route. So here the route is, if any connections coming from this IP addresses, you can accept. That's what you are giving an instruction And that too, it has to be go for communicating through VPC peering only. Okay, so select this one and save these changes. And see, these two are communicating to each other or not? So yes or no, guys?
Yes.
Yes.
So previously this is not done. Now it is. No, now these two missions are different missions, right? One is Facebook mission, one is Google mission. But these two missions are communicating to each other or not? The reason is why? So we made the VPC peering. With the help of the VPC peering, even two different missions in two different VPCs, no? So it can be communicated to each other without any complications. But the only thing is that, so make sure that IP range, it could not be same. So when you want to make some kind of VPC connections or VPC peering, to make sure that one VPC, it might have some IP addresses range, and second VPC, it might have some IP addresses range, right? So both, it could not be correlated. It must be a different IP addresses range or addresses space. So that is the note point we need to remember it. I hope you clear. And if you have any kind of questions regarding about VPC peering on same region, and you can ask me, then I can try to clear your doubts. And you can try to do it by handy so that you will get some kind of knowledge, guys. Otherwise, it's a very tough to understand, and it's not like tough, and it's you won't understand the basic concepts. So how the two missions are communicating and how those are sending the data from one mission to another mission. That concept you never understood. Okay. Okay, that's for today's session. Hopefully you understood, and let's meet by tomorrow. No, not gate. Let's talk about not gate. Okay. Take care, guys. Bye. See you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, can you add me so that I can get the previous videos? Please?
You can send me your mail ID so that I can add into my playlist, and you will get the invitation from the Canvas, and you have to
Okay.
accept that one, and then we can set your own password. Then you can access the recordings, lifetime. So you won't get any kind of notifications in a daily manner. So it's
Okay.
one-time access only, but lifetime. If you one-time authentication, you can access lifetime. Okay.
Yeah. Add me to, bro.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I'm just sending you my. I'm just giving you. I'm giving my what we call my phone number or my WhatsApp number. You can try to share it.
Yeah,
Your
yeah, bro.
so +1.
Yes.
Sorry, +91. Sorry, +91. So
Yeah.
9640
Yeah. 9640
987
987.
960. So this is my WhatsApp number. So you can put a message, your mail IDs. So I
Yeah,
will
bro.
give you my previous
Your
record.
your good name.
Anjan Kumar.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Hi, this is Sanya.
Yeah, hi Sanya.
Yeah, you mentioned on Tuesday class that if you have more time, so we can have uh, sessions which
Mm-hmm.
we can learn for AWS, Python, like that,
Mm-hmm.
like foundations.
Mm-hmm.
So I was interested in those sessions.
Yeah, fine. So you are interested, but this modules are going right. AWS is also fundamental. AWS is also it's a fundamental concepts only. It belongs to fundamental concept. Once AWS is done, then I can start the Python as well as SQL. All fundamental concepts going to with this sessions only. Okay. Got you
Okay,
my point
perfect.
or no?
Yes, thank you.
with the same time the fundamental concepts are going on. Okay, so you don't need to come for another meetings and everything at this moment. Okay, in future also, if you want the same thing in future classes also, I can give you separate times. That moment you will come, but this time we have only one slot that it could be 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. and I'm covering all the fundamental concepts. Okay. Yep. Thank you guys.
Okay,
Bye.
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah, Srinivas and Raviteja, I already shared you my, so I already, given access to your mail IDs, and might you will be getting the mail from the Canvas and you can accept it. Okay.
Okay.
See you.
Okay,
Bye.
thank you. Bye.